Our story returns to Chelmsford, Essex in 1566, the site of the first major witch trial under Queen Elizabeth's new law. While Agnes Waterhouse captured the headlines for her demonic cat, Alice More was the second woman condemned and executed at the same assizes, highlighting how quickly the panic spread. Alice More was a neighbor of Agnes Waterhouse in the village of Hatfield, Peverel. Unlike the detailed confessions given by Francis and Waterhouse about pacts with the devil, Alice's case was built on the common fuel of English witchcraft, petty jealousy, and neighborhood malice. Alice was poor, and she fell victim to the common belief that the old, isolated women were using their dark arts to inflict minor but persistent misfortunes on their more prosperous neighbors. The most prominent accusation against Alice More came from a local man who was a weaver. This man claimed that Alice, fueled by envy and a simple argument, had used her magic to blight his trade. He asserted that after their quarrel, his tools failed, his cloth was ruined, and his business suffered inexplicable, crippling setbacks. To the fearful minds of the 16th century, the witch was the easiest explanation for economic failure. The evidence against Alice was weak, consisting mainly of these neighborhood grievances and the sudden, suspicious illness of local children. However, the magistrates were using the new 1563 law to set a terrifying precedent. They were determined to prove that witchcraft was real and must be punished. The accusations against Alice were crucial because they linked her directly to Agnes Waterhouse, the woman who had already confessed. The court used the confession of Waterhouse to imply that Alice More was part of the same satanic conspiracy, creating the image of a hostile local coven. During the trial, Alice was confronted with the spectral evidence, the misfortunes of her neighbors, but she maintained her innocence until the very end, denying any pact with the devil or any malicious intent. However, in the highly charged atmosphere of the Chelmsford trial, innocence was no defense. The jury, convinced by the climate of fear and the testimony of the weaver, returned a verdict of guilty. Alice More was condemned alongside Agnes Waterhouse and was also led to the gallows. Her execution was overshadowed by the more sensational story of the cat familiar, but her death was equally significant. Alice More's fate served as a devastating warning to all of England. Under the new law, a poor woman's quarrel, a neighbor's failing business, or a moment of local envy was enough to send her to the gallows. She was a silent, tragic victim, whose death cemented the legal precedent for mass executions and underscored the destructive power of economic resentment disguised as fear of the dark arts.